Hey fam, it's your boy Matty D. We're here today to talk about the Green Party. And I want to start by saying don't waste your time with the Green Party. It is a terrible neoliberal project, and they have lost a lot of their left support. I think that if you really are curious about politics and you want to get involved with electoralism, the best thing you can possibly do is think, how can I build myself up to be the strongest ally possible? What's the skill set I need, and who's going to deliver that skill set to me? I think very clearly the people who are willing to train you up so you can be the strongest individual, not just for electoral purposes or campaign, but for the broader idea of building up capacity for a revolution, are Avi Lewis, Matthew Green, and Leah Gazon. And I'll give a special shout out to Matthew Green because he's done a really tremendous job training up his people to not just be valuable to his campaign, but he really wants to build up a network and of supporters that can kind of remotely go out and fight for socialism around the country, and who knows, maybe someday around the world. When I talk about building up capacity, what I mean specifically is he will train you on making phone calls, not just so that way you can go and call for him, but you can go and call and do the data entry for getting information about building up a tenants union, so you know who's getting rent evicted, and you can start to get a list of people together to fight stuff like that. Or you can go feel more comfortable going knocking door to door, so you can find out the elderly people in your neighborhood and who needs groceries, and you can start building a mutual aid group that way. Or even like doing things like power mapping, so you understand where kind of the structures of power are in like your neighborhood or your region, and you can kind of figure out what the interests are of these various bodies and organizations and how they can align with your vision and how you can start to build up a real movement for change. I think it is important that we on the left try to always build power, and we ask, what am I doing this minute to build my power or my community's power? And I think Matthew Green, Leah Gazon, and Avi Lewis are committed to you as an individual building resistance against capitalism and building towards a revolution, as opposed to supporting the NDP, which is a shit party. They want you to be as strong as possible. And if you can help them, cool. But they also want to contribute to a greater vision. That said, the Green Party doesn't care at all about a greater vision. They have no greater vision. It is the party who wants to fight climate change without ever looking to the root of climate change, which is capitalism and the exploitation of people and planet. It is a weird party because you have people on the left and you've got people on the right. People on the left, we want to look again at like the root cause of all this problems and how we can resolve them, and the specifics of who is exploiting people and who is being exploited and how can we resolve this permanently. On the right, you have people who watched an Al Gore movie and they got scared and now they want to plan it for their kids, which is totally a good thing. But if you don't have the curiosity for who is being exploited and how do we protect them, you lack a little bit of the human compassion and a little bit of the human element. And there is a lot of xenophobia among those people, a lot of queerphobia, and a lot of transphobia. It is a pretty scary party to be in a lot of the time. I'm coming to you as an OG Justice Green. I think maybe the last one's still in the party. It is a weird place to be without question. So I want to kind of go through quick and let's just get some of the stuff out of the way. So has Annamie Paul been treated with racism? Yes, 100% from the beginning, before she even had a chance to say her name or her policies, which I still don't think she's clearly stated. It is such an odd situation because she, without question, has been treated terribly because she is black, because she is a woman, because she is Jewish. At the start, I think as time has passed, she's exposed herself to be a terrible leader and a worse person. But that doesn't justify how she was treated from the onset. And it pushed her to a defensive position where she got in a lot more fights, a lot more quickly from the beginning. Has she been tokenized? And again, yes, without question. And again, from the very beginning, I think Elizabeth May and a lot of those on the right who don't really have like a class analysis or an interest in figuring out why we face the broader problems we do weren't so concerned with what her policies were or what she was going to do to contribute to a better future. They saw someone who sounded progressive and wanted to appear to be progressive, and they just fell for her hook, line, and sinker. In debates and in questionnaires and in interviews, she would almost never give any policy points. I think she even refused to say what her favorite coffee was in several questionnaires. She completely lacked any type of character or dignity or a passion, which one might have if your entire world is being destroyed. It was really frustrating to watch throughout the leadership campaign, and as she eventually kind of made her way to victory, congrats to her. She started pushing back against that tokenism, and she started to say, I am my own person, and you can't control me. And I think I I personally respect her a lot for her ability to speak up in those settings and her ability to kind of voice herself. And I think that she's fought back quite admirably when she gives a shit. And she doesn't seem to give a shit unless it's about her person, which is really frustrating if you're the leader of a party. You don't seem the passion when she talks about the planet or how we might be able to save it, only when it comes to her own defense, which I can understand but I'm frustrated by. So I think that's kind of like the quick strokes of what's going on. If we want to get deeper, we got to go all the way back to the beginning when she first won the leadership, and she won with I think 51%, which is a pretty tight margin. And generally, when it's such a small margin, you want to build up some type of coalition. So on the left, you had Dmitry Lascaris, Miriam Haddad, and Amita Kutner, who brought in a lot of people and a lot of energy. I think membership to the Green Party doubled in that time. And with all those new people, you want to say to the leaders, you are important and you have a good vision, and to all the people that come behind them, you want to say the same thing to pull them behind you and hopefully build a stronger party that's got some real cohesion to it and makes for a stronger impact on the Canadian scene. Unfortunately, and she doesn't even have to work with the left. There's also people like David Murner, Glenn Murray, Courtney Howard, who played very well and were very savvy in how they campaigned, and she totally could have worked with them to kind of build up more of the centrist angle. But she also decided not to call any of them after she won. She completely left everybody in the dust and made her own decision to go out and fight for Toronto Centre, which everybody questioned from the beginning. There was no real chance that that would be one. Because you're first of all leaving behind everybody else who you just campaigned with. You're not calling anybody else or building up any network or movement. It's just purely about you. And then you've also got other areas around the country where they were already had some momentum, and so you're ignoring all these new people who brought the new people, the new energy and the new members, and then you're ignoring all the established people who've already built up such momentum in all these different ridings and had all these other areas where they'd be excited to welcome you. So to go to Toronto Centre and just do your own thing without calling or consulting anybody is 100% a slap in the face to everybody involved, and 100% is pissing people off for legitimate reasons from the beginning. Yes, there's like the racist crowds who've attacked her throughout, and they should be ostracized and justifiably attacked in the public eye. But there are serious concerns with her ability to lead, and I think this is the start of when people are realizing that Annamie Paul is complete trash. In addition to this, she also stopped talking about climate. Everything became about diversity and social justice, which are maybe two of the most important things. But again, you want to be looking at this through an angle of what is the root cause and who is being exploited and how do we permanently end this exploitation. And I think that for most in today's world, you can clearly see that it's capitalism. It's the 1% who continue to exploit the people on the planet. And if you want to criticize and talk about how we can build safer communities, we need to look at who's being exploited in those communities and who's exploiting them. She does not offer that class analysis in her pursuit of social justice and diversity, and so it becomes a very empty rhetoric. And so that means the people who usually like to talk about these things, who are people on the left, we are looking at her like, what the fuck are you talking about? You are coming from a place of very poor information and very little substance. So those people are pissed off. Then you got people on the right who are part of the Green members because they want to see cute pictures of puppies and seals in their Facebook feed. They're not getting the message they want to see anymore. And then you just got like the toxic right who just hates her because she exists. So everybody at this point is starting to get tired of Annamie already. And she has to face federal counsel all the time because Elizabeth May has basically made her own fan club in the party and put her own people at the top. So Annamie has been attacked on every front, which is hard and not fair that she's had to do that. But she is a neoliberal and she is terrible, and she kind of put herself in this situation. That just kind of snowballs into the fact that as time progresses, people really see that she surrounds herself with just the worst of the worst people. I think the one that everyone's familiar with is Noah Zatzman, who decided to come out and attack all the Green MPs and all the Green members and even people of the NDP and other parties who were supporting Palestine while Israel was continuing to assault them. And the greater consensus of the world is quickly moving towards the realization that Israel is an apartheid state. It is unjustly attacking and the Palestinian people, and it is a disgusting human rights violation, almost everything they do, and you can see it in your Twitter feed now that we have the internet. I'm not sure where her people come across come from to attack those who are standing for human rights. It's a pretty simple ask, especially with all the problems we have in Canada. We want to respect the human rights of everyone within our borders and outside of our borders, because borders are kind of a bullshit concept anyway. So this whole thing blows up because Noah Zatzman attacks MPs. And the weird thing about the Green Party is you have the leader isn't the leader. The leader is the spokesperson of the members. And the members of the Green Party have drafted a pretty thorough defense of Palestinians. It's one cool thing about the Green Party, and it's one thing I think they're proud of. I think 85% of people support these motions. So when you're attacking the MPs, you're not just attacking the MPs, you're attacking the people who drafted these motions, and Annamie Paul isn't doing her job by defending these motions. So people are very angry and very frustrated. In addition to this attack, Annamie Paul completely disappears off the face of the earth. MPs are trying to get a hold of her to find out what the fuck is going on, and it later comes to light that she is saying that you don't need to have new information or new contact information from me because I was getting your messages fine. I just didn't see any need to respond. I don't know how you want to characterize that level of incompetence. I would say it's on par for how she's demonstrated herself currently. But it was a pretty sad thing to see, and that's probably one of the key factors that led to Jenica Atwin deciding that she was going to jump shit to the Liberals, and that leaves Elizabeth May and Paul Manley just kind of wondering what the fuck they're supposed to do now. And as this happens, Annamie Paul goes on the speaking tour, as you can probably see behind me, where she goes on to attack Justin Trudeau for being a racist and a sexist, which he is, but not for the reason she says. And then she also attacks Chrystia Freeland and some others for allowing Jenica Atwin to join their party. It's a really disgusting situation. It started with her being attacked and put her into a corner where she's taking actions she may have not have to take if she wasn't feeling so unjustly attacked from the beginning of her tenure, but she has more quickly exposed herself to be a terrible neoliberal, and I think that your time is better left outside of the Green Party of Canada. If you still want to pursue it for some reason, because let's be clear, all parties are trash. The NDP, garbage, especially look towards the BC NDP if you want a clue as to why. It seems they just want to push out the Liberals so they can become the new Liberals to get all those cool lobbying dollars. The Liberals, obviously trash. Conservatives, obviously trash. Greens, trash. Everyone's bad. But you do have those few individuals, like I spoke about, Matthew Green, Avi Lewis, and Leah Gazon, who are trying to make a real difference, and you're most likely to find those people within the NDP. Where do you go from here? I would say give money to Paul Manley directly to his EDA. Just cut all funding to the Green Party if you are involved with them. And I think that's it, really. There's nowhere else to go. I hope that answered some of your questions or concerns. If not, please leave a comment, and I'll get to it as soon as I can. Yeah, power to the people, yo. This is a bad time for us, and I think we need to really rally together because the parties are falling apart. We're seeing governments start to fall and crack. The whole of society is starting to realize that we've been conned now that we've had some time to Google stuff on the internet, and it's kind of a delight and also really scary to see. So I wish you well and solidarity. Take care.